In Sarasota County, Florida, shocking new allegations revealed in the murder of Gabby Petito by her former boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. Gabby's parents are suing Brian's parents, and now new court filings revealing what the Laundries knew and when they knew it. We have all the latest.
They could have made an anonymous phone call and said where the body was located, and that would have helped this situation tremendously. They knew, starting on August 28th of 2021, that Gabby was dead.
In Jonesboro, Georgia, 21-year-old Hannah Payne witnessed a car accident, then followed a car that left the scene. She cut him off, confronted him, and then shot and killed him. Was it an accident? Was it self-defense? Or was it murder?
No, we actually do not want you to chase him. We just want you to be safe. He is drunk. I'm sorry that I'm here to tell you I'm not going to follow him. Because he is going to cause another accident. Ma'am, you just pulled the trigger of my gun in my hand. Ma'am, you are not supposed to follow him.
On the docket tonight in Palm Beach County, Florida, her husband has already been convicted. Now, Tracy Ferreter will go on trial for locking her son in a box in the garage.
What's hard? You were going to have every kind of thing that you'd want. You just earn it. You just had ice cream tonight, so why are you going to steal chocolate? You're getting cookies, you're getting ice cream, you're getting all these things, so why steal when you're getting all this stuff?
In tonight's Tank Takes, a drive-by caught on camera as an inflatable Santa is shot and deflated. And tonight we're asking, is this worse than stealing Christmas? Get ready. This hour of closing arguments starts right now. I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us here on Closing Arguments. It's already been an intense Monday night here. Wow. And we've got a whole nother hour to work through. We've got some big stories, and we've got our think tank coming up. First story, Gabby Petito, you know the story, murdered by her former boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. There he is, an abuser. That's all he was, an abuser and a killer. Complete fraud and phony. Complete fraud. Murdered an innocent young woman who he allegedly said he loved. Sorry, that's not love. So there is a lawsuit, and it's going to be a trial, and we're going to cover it here on Court TV, brewing down in Florida. Brian Laundrie took his own life. We know that. We also know that Brian Laundrie took Gabby's life. We know that. Now there is a lawsuit between the parents of Gabby Petito, who are suing the parents of Brian Laundrie. And now, as this case is progressing, it's a civil case. Some depositions were taken, some new revelations, some new information. Take a look. New accusations. This is from their third amended complaint from the August 29th, folks. On August 29th, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie spoke with Stephen Bertolino, advising him that Gabrielle Petito was gone and that Brian Laundrie needed a lawyer, and they sent him a retainer on September 2nd, 2021. Okay, now why are the Petitos so upset? Take a look. This was a statement released. Look at the date, September 14th, right? The 29th is when they learn all this, but on the 14th, Stephen Bertolino, the attorney, releases this statement. This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Ms. Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Ms. Petito is successful and that Ms. Petito is reunited with her family. That's why they're upset. I mean, Gabby had lived down there for like a year. So this was an existing relationship, and nothing, radio silence, to the Petitos about where their daughter was or what happened or where to look or how to do all this. This is why they're upset. And it's the genesis of their lawsuit. There is a hearing on December 20th regarding the attorney-client privilege, whether or not it should be upheld in this case. And a trial is slated for May of 2024. You'll see it right here on Court TV. Okay, now for more information and more of the backstory of this civil lawsuit, Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter has more for us tonight.
In July 2021, 22-year-old Gabby Petito and her fiancé Brian Laundrie set off from New York State on a cross-country trip. She was an aspiring travel influencer who wanted to document her van life adventures on social media.
Me and Brian just got up and got ready, made the bed in the tent, set up. I think our plan for today is to just hang out here in the tent. Brian's stretching.
During their time on the road, Gabby Petito was in constant contact with her family and posted updates that seemed to be picture perfect, but were actually far from it.
Can you guys please shut up?
How many times did you slap him?
India, Alpha.
Just a couple.
And then what? And his reaction was to do what? He just grabbed you?
Weeks after the Moab, Utah police investigated the couple for domestic violence, Gabby Petito disappeared. Her mother last spoke with her on August 27th. On September 1st, Brian Laundrie returned to his parents' home near Sarasota, Florida. He was driving Gabby's van, and despite pleas from Gabby's parents, he and his family refused to help police in the search for her.
I'm asking for help from the parents of Brian, and I'm asking for help of the family members and friends of the Laundrie family as well.
On September 19th, Gabby's remains were found in a shallow grave in Wyoming, and Brian Laundrie was on the run. This is the home of Chris and Roberta Laundrie, where Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian Laundrie lived before their cross-country van life trip. Now, if you remember, in September of 2021, for weeks, media staked out this property, protesters staked out this property, demanding that the Laundries speak out what happened to Gabby Petito, what happened when their son Brian Laundrie went missing. But they never would speak publicly, only through their attorney. A month later, his body was found in a nearby nature preserve.
Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items, such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie.
Now, Gabby Petito's parents are suing Brian Laundrie's parents for the emotional pain they went through while Gabby was missing. They allege in their lawsuit that the Laundries knew that their son had killed Gabby and were protecting him. According to court documents, the Laundrie and Petito families had a cordial relationship until Gabby disappeared, and the Laundries appeared to be avoiding questions about what happened to their daughter. Instead of helping them, the Petitos say the Laundries lawyered up and cut off all contact with them as the search for Gabby was underway. The Petitos also accused Christopher and Roberta Laundrie of helping Brian hide from the police and make plans for him to leave the country. Brian Laundrie admitted in a suicide note that he killed Gabby, and while he was never prosecuted, the Petitos want his parents held accountable for their actions.
The cause of action here is intentional infliction of emotional distress. And if you put yourself into the shoes of Gabby's parents, right, is there any worse distress than your daughter's missing and you don't know where she is? And what they're alleging is by releasing that information on September 14th that they're hoping for, that she's reunited with her family, it gives them this false sense of hope. And like, where is she? Like, why aren't they telling us where she is? What is going on here? I think everyone would agree it was a awful thing to do when you know someone's daughter is missing and you say nothing. Because remember, this is August 29th. And it takes weeks for her to be officially reported missing. Not by the Laundries, not by her murderer, the murderer's parents. No, no, no. But Gabby's parents had to do that. All right, let's bring in our think tank tonight. Joining us in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, Al Wunsch III. Also joining us, international man of mystery in Antigua, criminal defense attorney, Darnell Crosland. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. Great to see everyone tonight, and we can make that connection over the waters and everything else. This is fantastic. Al, I'll begin with you. Let's get to the case, okay?
All right.
You'll have time to get to Darnell, but let's get to the case first. Intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Yes.
I mean, you can't imagine the pain that the parents went through during this time where things are not known, and the Laundries knew, and then the Laundries released something that seemed to indicate that, oh, maybe he'll find her and she'll be alive. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it certainly is intentional infliction of emotional distress. I mean, it's information that they knew, information that by withholding was going to put these people into a position where, one, they were hopeful, two, they were, still maybe of the belief that she was alive and that things were going to be okay. And they knew that she was not, well, she was gone.
She was gone.
So, in that kind of a situation with regards to the issue of that, I mean, what parent would not be distressed as a result of that? And, because the proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, I mean, I don't see how a jury is going to do anything except find in favor of these poor people.
Darnell, looking at this case, so Brian Laundrie, he's an adult. He's not a minor. He's not a juvenile. I'm not going to call him a man, because I don't think a man would do something like that. I don't think men abuse women. I think they're cowards. But he's an adult. The law saw him as an adult when he was alive and when he murdered Gabby. He calls mommy and daddy, get me a lawyer. And that all takes place August 29th. And then the parents say nothing. Nothing. Where is the line between intentional infliction of emotional distress and I think the allegation is going to be just following the advice of counsel?
Well, a couple things. One, if Brian was brave enough to stay alive and face the music for what he did, then my brother counsel at the bar would be right. It would be beyond a reasonable doubt. But in this case, it's a civil case, so my brother Al Wunsch misspoke. The burden is not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a civil case, so it's a preponderance of evidence. So it's a little different. He cowered out. So in this particular case, the question would be as to whether, in fact, these parents lawyered up because they knew what happened or because they took the approach where they don't say anything and don't ask any questions. Some lawyers do the same. Their clients come in the office, and we don't want to know if you did it. We just want to make sure that we face the indictment or whatever it is. So here, the question would have been, is it negligent infliction because they were reckless and maybe they should have said something? Or was it intentional because they knew? And we don't know that for sure. And so that's where I grapple with. So we don't know.
In the deposition, they admit that it was, according to the plaintiffs here, in this deposition, they admit that it was a frantic call, and he said, Gabby is gone. You don't interpret gone as dead?
Yeah. No, it could be gone like she left me, and maybe I can't say
I left me. She left me. You need to get me a lawyer? Why would you need to get him a lawyer? But for her being, is there any other reason to get a lawyer if a girlfriend leaves a boyfriend?
Help me with that. Jennifer might help us out with that. But
Jennifer Brandt, you don't even need a family law attorney there, do you?
No, you don't. But, what I think what everyone's forgetting here is that you have a set of parents, and I'm not defending them, but I am saying that they are parents, and this is their son calling them. He's in trouble. Get me a lawyer. Gabby's gone. they may be in a state of panic themselves. Like, what do? They want to protect their son. I know we look at him as a callous killer, and he obviously killed himself, so he was guilty. We all know that in retrospect. But at the time, they're parents too, and they're doing everything they can to protect their son. They're afraid. So, I mean, I don't say it's right, but I can sort of see where they're coming from at that time.
Well,
that's not a defense.
Go ahead.
That's not a defense. That's not a defense to intentional infliction of emotional distress.
I understand, but it might go to their intention, their intent. Were they intending to really harm? Was there harm? They weren't intending. They were intending to protect their child at the time. They probably didn't think that they probably didn't know what to do. I mean, you could only imagine putting yourself in their shoes, they're panicked as well. They have a child. He's a man, yes, but it's always their child.
Al was right. That's not a defense, but it just might still go to negligent versus intentional. But it's still not a defense.
Well, but it is intentional. I mean, they knew. I mean, it's not a question of whether it was negligent.
Gone.
I mean, the fact
Al, they didn't know.
She was,
they didn't know that he killed her at the time.
Wait a minute. It's gone, and I need a lawyer. It's gone, and I need a lawyer.
I need a lawyer. Maybe he, there could have been a lot of things.
What?
I mean,
he was worried about a
domestic dispute, and she ran off. Maybe she ran off. I mean, they didn't know. You can't assume that they knew what happened.
Worried about what? An ownership interest in his van? I mean, come on. This is.
It's her van.
It's her van.
It's her van, by the way. It's her van. Let me ask you this, Darnell. Let me ask you this, and Al, you can also chime in. We also understand that there was a $25,000 retainer that was paid, that was sent out to the lawyer out in Wyoming, okay? So a $25,000 retainer in Wyoming. Does that sound like we know that she's dead?
Yeah, it does. And I got to tell you, if Brian said I killed her specifically, not just that she's gone, maybe we had a fight, I pushed her, she hit her head, and she wasn't moving, that kind of thing, but I killed her, then I would say that then that's a reasonable retainer. But $25,000, and I do this kind of work, for somebody who's just suspected of their son being involved, that's a great retainer. And but again, we don't know if he said I killed her or just that she's gone, meaning like, something happened and he didn't expect it, she's not moving anymore, that kind of thing. But yeah, it sounds like that's a big retainer for a criminal matter that I'm not gonna lie, that maybe he knew that she was dead.
Well, look, the bottom line is this. They said they cared for this girl. They said that they were treating her like a daughter, that they loved her, and the whole 9 yards. You have to, at that point, say to them, listen, we don't know all the details, but my son said this, we're very concerned. That's all you have to do. Tip them off that that's the situation.
I think the best thing they could have done is maybe not said anything. You know what I mean? They didn't have to go out and say, we're looking for her. I mean, that certainly is problematic, okay? And have the attorney come out and say, we're looking for her. But they could have just said nothing.
May of 2024, coming right here to your front row seat to justice. They're with us the whole hour. Up next. She witnessed a hit and run, then took things into her own hands, chasing down the driver and shooting him. What will her argument to the jury be?
Hannah Payne witnessed a hit and run.
Now a man is dead, and prosecutors are accusing her of taking the law into her own hands.
Either she or he fired the trigger in some kind of a struggle over the pistol.
The officers generally ask who fired a shot, and she makes statements to both of them admitting it was her.
Bizarre set of circumstances.
But will the jury see her actions as murder?
The car crash vigilante trial. Live coverage Tuesday, 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Dreaming of changing the world is one thing. Building the community to actually do it, that's real. Sometimes we need to come together to elevate higher. Introducing Bounce Community, a new bond between Bounce and you. Together we celebrate, engage, and empower. Together through partnership outreach, each month we'll spotlight people making impactful change, giving back, spreading love, elevating the community. Bounce Community. To get started, go to bouncetv.com/community.
You got us banned from being room parents? I have never been more in love with you.
That's incredible! No, it's genius! I know! Oh, forget it. You'll never
understand.
That's gotta hurt, huh?
Alf, what are you doing here?
I used to be a phenomenon. Now I'm reduced to a what are you doing here? You keep me coming back for more.
Make your free TV even better with Tablo. Tablo enhances your TV antenna to give you access to more channels and lets you record your favorite shows.
Switching to Tablo has really been a money saver.
With Tablo, I can record something on my phone, I can pause it, I can go get a drink, come back, I can continue in the family room.
Tablo is so easy to set up.
Order Tablo today for just $99.95. Tablo, pay once and watch forever. Order today at tablotv.com.
At Scripps News, reporting your world from the middle matters. Since 1878, Scripps has been a shining light in the middle of the storm.
Stories of survival and hope.
In the middle of the action.
You can see how treacherous the terrain is here.
The middle of it all.
This is a story that began long before.
So when events unfold on every side, see it clearly from the middle. Scripps News. Find with an antenna or on your favorite streaming app.
Weeknights.
Daddy and I have some exciting news.
Laugh More has a new man of the house.
Sounds like a plan that makes everybody happy.
And he runs a pretty tight ship.
You got blackjack. That pays 3 cookies to 2. I have responsibilities.
My game starts in 20 minutes.
You said having kids would be fun.
I said making kids would be fun.
Man with a Plan. Weeknights starting at 11:10 Central on Laugh More.
Are you laughing at me?
So hard.
These are the cases that shape the American justice system.
But what is certain is the most important issue. Innocence or guilt. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
You are talking to me because you're sitting on
Watching this evolution through the years has been fascinating.
This is the staircase with evidence of murder.
You don't know what's going to happen next.
Court TV is the best true crime.
Either she or he fired the trigger in some kind of a struggle over the pistol. And this is kind of what the case comes down to. Was it an accident or was it a matter of self-defense?
Or was it murder, like prosecutors have alleged here? That's the third option here in this case. She was 21. She sees a hit-and-run accident, follows the guy who's leaving, then confronts him. She's got a gun. She said it was in her hand, and he squeezed the trigger. How does that work? We'll see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, this case has had a lot of drama inside the courtroom involving the original judge in the case. Kelly Craft takes a look.
Monday morning, November 14th, 2022. All parties are present in a Clayton County courtroom for the first day of jury selection in Georgia versus Hannah Payne, except for Hannah Payne's defense attorney, Matthew Tucker.
Miss Payne, what do you know?
He was admitted into the hospital Saturday morning with a stroke, and that he's at KP, but other than that, I'm not.
Matthew Tucker has represented Hannah since her May 2019 arrest in the shooting death of Kenneth Herring, and she is facing multiple charges, including malice murder. Judge Shanna Rooks Malone was visibly angered by Tucker's absence as she addressed the court.
We're ready to start a trial today, and we've not heard anything. Do you have contact information for anybody in his office?
I have his office direct number.
Okay. Do you have his cell number?
I do.
Can you write it on a piece of paper and provide it to me? You can provide it to my staff attorney.
Tucker was already in hot water with the trial judge after he was late for a motions hearing on the previous week.
Mr. Tucker, I had an email that you were going to be delayed because you were in another county, but I didn't receive a conflict notice.
I didn't expect a conflict. I was there at 8 a.m. this morning to enter a plea. They had some issues with the inmates. They asked me to come back at 1. I was there at 1. It just took longer than we expected, and I got here as quick as I could, Your Honor.
After Judge Malone confirmed Tucker was hospitalized, she returned to the courtroom and slammed him from the bench.
He had a stroke. So I cannot go forward with the trial today because his pain is not represented. But what I will tell you, Ms. Payne, is you need to seriously seek new counsel. I am going to find that Mr. Tucker is in contempt of court.
Judge Malone also said she was going to file a grievance against Tucker with the State Bar of Georgia, stating he was doing a disservice in Hannah Payne's case. Tucker spoke with local station WSB from his hospital bed after the judge's admonitions.
It is not a disservice. We've been waiting for this trial for 3 years.
He later filed a motion asking for Judge Malone to be removed from the case, arguing that her comments revealed her bias against his client and her prejudice in the case. In May 2023, Judge Jewel Scott was assigned to preside over Hannah Payne's murder trial.
Unbelievable developments. Well, in front of a new judge now. The trial has begun. Day 1 of jury selection. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter has the latest for us tonight.
Vinny, jury selection got underway earlier today, nearly 4.5 years after prosecutors say then 21-year-old Hannah Payne shot and killed 62-year-old Kenneth Herring. The question is, was the shooting malice murder or was it something else?
Well, it's a little bit more than that, and I can't really go into the details of it.
Well, the jurors who will decide that answer are actively being questioned in panels of 15 inside the Clayton County Courthouse after about 600 were summoned for this trial. Each of these panels take about 2 hours, with the attorneys asking questions to the group and individually screening jurors for hardship, publicity, and impartiality. Payne's defense attorney says his client is feeling confident.
She's comfortable. She's ready to get this over with. She is comfortable with our defense, and she's ready to get it going. But, you know, anxiety, she's young. She's still 25, 26, and she's still young, although she had to grow up pretty quick because of this. And she's just ready to go, and she can see past the trial now. So I think that's a start of trying to get closure, gets, you know, the process of this over with.
Also today, Vinny, the defendant turned down a plea offer from prosecutors for a life sentence with the possibility of parole. So that means this trial will move forward as soon as a jury is selected and will likely go into next week. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, let's bring in our tank. Wow. A lot of things to talk about here. You know, we could talk about a 21-year-old chasing down someone in a hit and run after being told not to do it by the 911 operator, and then confronting him, and then he ends up getting shot. We could talk about that. We could talk about the plea offer today, or we could talk about the lawyer who's held in contempt for having a stroke and not showing up in court. Darnell, your choice.
Well, I think I'm going to start with the fact that if I was Al Wunsch, I would say the client watching all this happening must have been in pain. Get it, Al? Hannah Payne? Al, I know you're proud of me, Al, with that one.
No, I'm not proud. In fact, I hope that the signal gets cut from Antigua, wherever the heck you are.
So Vinny, the problem here is that this judge was absolutely upset with this lawyer, and the lawyer was right to file a motion to recuse her because that type of stuff just kind of spills over. And then you're playing this sort of, as a lawyer, you're trying to duck the judge's shots, and you're trying to ingratiate the judge because you want that to flow over to your client. That's a relationship you can't repair. So I was glad that he did the motion to recuse and she got out the way. Judge might have been right. This woman's sitting here with no lawyer, but then the guy had a stroke, and the judge still said, "I'm gonna file a grievance against him." So I think that's a good place to start, and I'm glad the judge moved out the way.
Yeah. You cannot hold a lawyer in contempt for not showing up because they had a stroke. You can't do that. There's something terribly wrong with that. That judge is out, new judge is in charge. Jennifer Brandt, let's talk about this life with the possibility of parole as a plea offer, which was turned down by this defendant. This is Georgia. This is malice murder or felony murder, either one of them. life without parole. Very strong possibility. Your thoughts about this plea offer? Is it fair? Do you think she has any defense here? She followed him.
Yeah, well, apparently she does have a defense, Vinny, because I don't think she would have turned down any offer without a defense. You know, I think maybe she's going to say that there was some kind of struggle. I mean, we understand that she was advised not to follow him and not to make a citizen's arrest or try to. But we don't know what happened when she actually got there and she did pursue him. And I guess from her point of view, she was trying to do the right thing. She was trying to protect society against this person who had, you know, a hit and run type accident. So we'll see what she has to say. Just getting back to the lawyer issue, I mean, what a big distraction for the whole case. I mean, just delaying things and having judges angry. I mean, just an unnecessary distraction all the way around.
Yeah, you got to take a step back and be human at a certain point and understand things. I know you're the judge. I know it's really bad when they don't show up, but like,
Well, she was obviously upset with him for prior appearance that he was late.
And then if he left that courthouse and went over here, that judge would be. I mean, it is what it is. And I know he didn't file the conflict papers that he was supposed to file, but my goodness. They weren't ready at 8 a.m. when it was scheduled. Let's do this, Al. She also suspected that he was drunk because I guess she did see and hear him before he got in his car and left the scene. Now, my understanding is what prosecutors will say, and I believe is the truth, is that he was having a diabetic episode. And you know, Al, I'm type 1 diabetic. I know what those episodes can be like. If you have a low blood sugar, you don't make sense. You could be short-tempered. You are thinking about one thing and one thing only, which is trying desperately to get help. But sometimes when you're in that state, you don't even know how to help yourself. You just know you need help. So what part will that play in all this, in that if it turns out that she was mistakenly thought that he was drunk when he was in a medical situation where he needed help?
Well, first of all, you're right. A diabetic can even emit from his breath something that almost seems like alcohol as a result of the fact that the condition, and it will promote slurring of your words, and you would be having a problem balancing and everything along those lines. So I don't think, I mean, I'm sure that the autopsy report's going to show whether or not he was indeed having an attack at the time, but I don't even think it matters. You have no right to confront someone on drunk driving with a gun. I mean, it's insane, and you know, it sounds. And this is Georgia, which is we had a case not too long ago in Georgia where they said some guy was prowling around houses, and then they started chasing him, and then they shot him. Okay, it seems a little ironic that the situation here is almost similar. Who takes off on a situation with regards to a hit-and-run accident and then confronts them with a gun? It's insane. Okay, I hope she gets found guilty. I hope they throw away the key. This is an absolute ridiculous.
In Georgia,
situation.
You're looking at life without the possibility of parole. Al Wunsch, Darnell Crosland, Jennifer Brandt, staying with us. Up next. Timothy Farrader is serving 5 years for locking his son in a box in the garage. Now it's time for his wife, Tracy, to go to trial, and we have a preview.
I was awakened by my brother screaming.
Pounding on the door. Bang, bang, bang.
People don't realize human beings like that can exist in the world.
He said that we'd seen his face and there was no way that he could ever let us go.
They're not gonna let me go easily.
You better fight and you better get out of here.
I survived because I'm a born fighter.
I Survived, tonight at 10/9 Central on Court TV.
I'm Vinny Politan. Welcome to Closing Arguments. There is so much on the line, so much at stake. Well, what was this case really about?
Closing Arguments with Vinny Politan. Weeknights at 8/7 Central. Only on Court TV.
I couldn't drive for a long time. I got these bumps under my arms, too painful to wear a seatbelt. 7 years, but no one knew what it was. Finally, I found the right dermatologist.
So what we're looking at is something called hidradenitis suppurativa, it's HS for short.
Too much inflammation forms abscesses that can fill up and burst. HS can happen to almost anyone. I wasn't alone. I wish I had gone to the right dermatologist sooner. But now that I know what it is, there's hope.
The drama of a courtroom is like no other drama anywhere.
I just started firing.
You get involved with the trial through Court TV. You become a part of the process.
This is the world that the defense invites you to occupy.
Something about the defendant or something about the lawyers, even the judge. The stakes could not be higher.
Your life is not on the line. Mine is.
We made America stop and watch true crime.
It was the case that started America's true crime obsession.
My office filed murder charges against O.J. Simpson.
A fallen star, a dream team of lawyers, and all the dramatic courtroom moments that have become legendary.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Relive the trial that had the world watching.
And made Court TV a legend.
The trial of O.J. Simpson. Weekdays noon to 4 on Court TV Legendary Trials.
This is Israel at war.
Our special coverage is from Tel Aviv to Washington.
These are really mounting of a wider escalation.
The army is evacuating the press with urgency.
Jason Bellini, he's live in southern Israel right now.
Behind me, Israeli forces are firing upon Gaza. You can still see the shell casings on the ground from what was clearly an intense firefight.
We continue to stay on top of the latest developments out of Israel.
Israel at war. For continuing coverage, stay with Scripps News.
I've worked hard all my life. I've gone from being a local reporter to becoming a law student to then even going on to teach other lawyers, all before I came to Court TV. As a journalist, lawyer, and teacher, I learned the secret to success is speaking in your authentic voice. And I bring that lesson to my show, Opening Statements, every morning on Court TV.
Opening Statements with Julie Grant. Weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central, only on Court TV.
These are the cases that captivated the world.
Couldn't keep my life straight.
That demanded our attention.
They were killed by their own children.
That challenged the legal system and ourselves.
How in the world can a mother wait 30 days for reporting her child missing?
These are the trials that became legendary.
Jeffrey!
And now you can relive them all in one place. Court TV Legendary Trials. Go to courttv.com/legendary trials to find out how to watch.
We, the jury, find as follows. As to count 1, we find the defendant guilty of aggravated child abuse as charged in the information. As to count 2, we find the defendant guilty of false imprisonment as charged in the information. As to count 3, we find the defendant guilty of neglect of a child as charged in the information.
Timothy Ferriter found guilty. What did he do? He locked his son, his adopted son, in this box inside the garage. That's what he did. He had it built. You can only lock it from the outside, not the inside. You lock it from the outside. So you lock him in the box in the garage in Florida and give him no control over the air conditioning. You give him a bucket instead of a bathroom. You put a camera in there so you can keep your eye on him. Now he had, they made their arguments. He didn't testify, but 5 years. Got 5 years for it. But he's not the only one being charged with this. His wife, Tracy, as well. Her trial is coming up. And Tracy was at Tim's trial and was there the moment that they were playing one of the videos from the camera that they put in there. Now, we couldn't show the video, but you can hear it. And in it, you hear her listening as she's yelling at their adopted son. Let's take a listen and a look at her.
Do you have pajamas? Are those them right there? Do you hear me?
Oh, here we go. Back to this where you can't talk. You're a middle school boy. You want to do all these things. You want to do chess. You want to do things. But you can't talk because you got caught being dishonest. Okay. Well, that's fine. Guess I'll just keep giving you more chances. Every day, new chance for even though doesn't care, he doesn't want to be nice to anyone. Oh, let's let do this. Oh, let's let me bring some food because I think he's gonna have a good night. Oh, let me do everything for okay. Oh, can't talk because he got in trouble because he got caught. It's like, give me a break. Start owning up to what you're doing, and then try to fix the problem, like we keep telling you.
All right, some of the beeps you heard, she was saying his name, so not necessarily swearing at him in all those moments there. Here we go, folks. Big motions hearing coming up on December 6th, and she wants to be declared indigent at this point. So they went from $1 million house in Palm Beach County, Florida, in Jupiter. They're in a rough spot now, apparently claiming she has no money, but she's got a trial and there's a lot at stake. Let's bring back in our think tank, Al Wundt, Darnell Crosland, Jennifer Brandt. Jennifer, her husband didn't testify. No explanation, firsthand explanation to this jury about why they did what they did. I mean, the facts were, there was no way around it. I mean, they had the box built, he was in there, he told the jury all about it, yet he didn't explain to this jury why he did it. Does she need to explain to the jury why she did it?
I think her explanation, Vinny, yes, I think she will testify, and I think her explanation will be that it was all her husband. It was, you know, she was under his control. He was abusive. Who knows what she's going to come up with? But then when you hear a tape like this, I mean, it's so, the whole case is so upsetting just because these people clearly did not know how to parent this child, and what they did is just tragic, and it's terrible. And you know that they allowed this to go on. The child was certainly troubled. He had his issues, but to treat him like this and to put him in a box, and you know, she sounds like she was part of it, recording these things and yelling at the child and going along sort of with what her husband was doing. So, and maybe, you know, maybe it was her idea, who knows, but I'm sure in her, you know, as a part of her defense, she's going to try to blame it on him and say that it was all him, and you know, she just kind of had to go along with it. She didn't have a choice, and I think that's her only defense after hearing some of this.
Al, I didn't understand why he didn't testify. I think and I know everyone has the right to remain silent, right? Prosecution's got to prove it, but they're going to prove it. They got pictures of the box. They've got the son's going to testify and tell the jury everything. So that's a given. So throw that out the window. You need to explain it. Explain what you did before you built the box. Explain why you built the box. Explain what life was like. Explain your concerns. Show that you're a human being. None of that in the first trial, Al.
Which was a huge mistake. You have to take a situation where you're going to make the defendant a person who's put into a position with a child that he can't control and that he loves, and he's trying to control them. And that maybe he used the wrong, you know, forms of punishment to do this, but that the motive was to make the kid good, to be able to make him a productive member of society.
Or to protect your other children. I think that was part of the motivation too. You got to tell the jury.
And also that. But you know, like listening to her ranting and raving on that poor kid, I mean, Jesus, I would probably rather live in the garage than live in the house with her. That's for darn sure. I mean, she's just horrendous. So if she doesn't get up there and talk about what she was trying to do, and this is hard love, and you know, and this is her trying to make him, you know, a better person, they're going to be, I mean, I don't even think the jury's going to have to get out of the box to deliberate. They'll just like go, yep, show of hands, guilty.
Darnell, I mean,
no excuse for any of it. I mean, it's just, it's
there's no excuse, but there has to be a defense. Like,
that's right.
And Darnell, the defense to me is get up on the stand and explain why. Take us into your situation. Like, what were you going through? Because otherwise the jury is going to see this guy doing this, going to hear them yelling at the kid. They're gonna hear the kid screaming when he's locked inside. I mean, you only have like 20 seconds though. Sorry, Darnell.
All right, well, real quick. So Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club says that the craziest people in the world come from the Bronx and all of Florida, and Florida is jumping. And I just want to say that there's a group called the Courties, led by Michelle and Julian, that been begging for an autographed picture of Vinnie Politan, and they are amazing fans of yours in Pensacola, Florida. So that's what I have to say for this. And there's a real group called the Courties. I never knew that. And attorney Michael Skyber has been texting me that you have to look into the Courties. They want your picture, Vinny, so I need an autographed picture.
All right, I'll look into that. I'll look into that. They can always go on my Facebook page anyway, and message me. Al Wunsch, Darnell Cross, and Jennifer Brandt. Fasten your seatbelts. Up next. In tonight's Tank Takes, a drive-by caught on camera as an inflatable Santa is shot and deflated. And tonight we're asking, is this worse than stealing Christmas?
There was pounding on the door. Bang, bang, bang.
He said that we'd seen his face and there was no way that he could ever let us go.
I survived because I'm a born fighter.
I Survived. Next on Court TV.
A Georgia woman accused of taking the law into her own hands.
But will the jury see her actions as murder?
The car crash vigilante trial. Live coverage Tuesday morning, 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Hey, Johnson. Bad news. You're not getting your promotion.
Well, that's okay. I just gave myself a raise.
Hey! How'd you do that?
I just said took the money out of your paycheck.
You budget. You pay bills.
Yet somehow women like you, like me,
are 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So here's what we're gonna do now. We're going to save ourselves by setting a goal to save 2% more of our income for our retirement.
Why 2? 1% honors you.
And 1% honors all womankind.
So come on, learn more about the 2% challenge at wesaysaveit.org.
Make your free TV even better with Tablo. Tablo enhances your TV antenna to give you access to more channels and lets you record your favorite shows.
Switching to Tablo has really been a money saver.
With Tablo, I can record something on my phone, I can pause it, I can go get a drink, come back, I can continue in the family room.
Tablo is so easy to set up.
Order Tablo today for just $99.95. Tablo, pay once and watch forever. Order today at tablotv.com.
I'm Vinnie Politan. Welcome to Closing Arguments. There is so much on the line, so much at stake. Well, what was this case really about?
Closing Arguments with Vinnie Politan. Weeknights at 8/7 Central. Only on Court TV.
You got us banned from being room parents? I have never been more in love with you.
That's incredible! No, it's genius! I know! Oh, forget it. You'll never understand.
That's gotta hurt, huh?
Alf, what are you doing here?
I used to be a phenomenon. Now I'm reduced to a what are you doing here?
You keep me coming back for more.
There's gonna be trouble.
Let's have it. Keep your eyes open.
Pull that trigger.
Well, that's right.
I'll find you, and I'll kill you. Now all I need is a fresh horse, a saddle, and a gun.
Time for our Tank Takes. We take a look at the world of crime and justice and those stories that we just can't find a place for in the rest of the show. Still with us, Al Wunsch III, Darnell Crosland, Jennifer Brandt. Are you ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
First one I'm calling Real Fake Estate. What does that mean? Two Florida men, of course, arrested in this financial scam where they put up some signs and a website for this new coming soon Falls of Davie complex. People plucked down deposits of $100,000. It was all a scam. They ended up getting like $1 million out of the whole thing before they got caught. Here's the question, Al. Was this a great scam or easy targets?
Well, I mean, they said coming soon. They just didn't say how soon. Okay, so eventually it may get there. That would be my defense to the jury.
Yeah, after they do
just
5
be patient,
to 10.
Folks. Be patient.
Darnell?
Well, the first thing is, here goes Florida again. And the second thing is, those estates are going to be in the penitentiary. So that's probably the plots they were selling.
Jennifer Brandt.
I hope that nobody really wanted to go see them because there was just
they look nice,
no
right?
No models, nothing to say, right?
Unbelievable. Next story, calling this one the Goat Rodeo up in Boston for reasons still unknown. There were a series of false reports regarding loose goats in Boston, and these pictures were sent. I don't know, maybe it's AI doing it. I don't know who's doing it. But all over Boston, they're calling up with these reports of goats on the loose in the streets of Boston. So my question tonight for you, Darnell, who is the goat of Boston, by the way? Is it Tom Brady, 7-time Super Bowl winner, Whitey Bulger, boss of Boston's most notorious mob, Bill Russell, 11-time NBA champion, or Ben Affleck, 2-time Academy Award-winning actor and filmmaker? Darnell.
We're going to hurt some people tonight, and you can't ask any questions. Whose car are we taking? Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Jennifer Brandt.
I think it's a little furry guy in the previous picture. That's who I think it is.
Al Wunsch, who is the goat of Boston?
Well, Vinny, every year around this time, they have these problems with the goats in Boston because it's a season. You know, that you've heard the expression, bah, humbug. There you go.
Man. Let's get to our final story tonight. I'm calling this one the Santa Drive-By. Lexington, Kentucky, an inflatable Santa was hit in a drive-by shooting. Home surveillance camera caught it. There comes the car. Look at this. They're driving. Santa gets shot. Down goes Santa. Down goes Santa. Let's watch it one more time. Slow motion, an actual drive-by. Unbelievable. Now, there was actually a second camera there, and I believe we do have a better image of that car. Take a look. Is this worse than stealing Christmas, Jennifer Brandt?
Oh, yes, Vinny. That's so sad to see that poor Santa fall down. It's just awful.
Darnell.
Well, they typically say you get more time for hurting a prosecutor, but I think at least this time we got a real person down.
Yeah. Did you see that the crime scene photo there? Did you see Santa on the ground there, Al?
Well, you know, Vin, I'm going to call this truly Rebels Without a Santa Claus. And it is elfin horrible. That's what I have to say.
That's the go to Boston. Oh, excuse me, go to Jersey.
I'll be in Boston this weekend, folks. Army Navy's up there.
Oh, I thought you were performing at Chuckles.
I'll be at Chuckles doing 3 nights, and then at the halftime show at Army Navy.
There you go.
Army,
We're going to see your picture on the street in different poses on the street.
Right next to the goat.
Al Wunsch, Darnell Crosland, Jennifer Brandt, great to see you. Thank you all so much. We'll see you again really, really soon. All right, folks, before we go tonight, please take a look at your screens. If you're just listening, you need to watch. This is Jamie Amanda Lynn Shelton.